Okay, yes. So I said our first speaker today is Adeshola Coach, the multi-award winning mentor and CEO, and she's also a coach. So you want to be listening to what she's gonna speak on today. And I'll just advise that if you have a notepad and pen, I think it'll be advisable to write down certain things because we can't all remember everything from head knowledge. So it will be advisable and wise, for our benefit to just write down so before I'll put the questions in the chat box. So just whatever questions you have, please put it in the chat box. Even if the speakers are speaking and you have any questions, put it in the chat box. And then after the speaker has finished, after she's done, then we will take questions. So put your questions in the chat box. Spotlight Adeshola now.
Hello.
Okay. Hi. I just want to spotlight you. Thank you for joining us and coming as we invited you.
You're very welcome.
I've actually done one of the trainings at TriTech.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this is 2020. I wanted to just change my career, and I did project management, and I was one of the deputy PM, and it was just an amazing time. Loved it.
Oh, fantastic. So, what project was on? Just out of interest.
It was oh my goodness.
Oh, it's okay.
I'll remember and I'll tell you.
That's fine. Well, you have an amazing experience. That's
I
the most important.
I did, and yes,
fantastic.
It was amazing. Okay,
good.
I'm gonna spotlight you. Why am I?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So thank you, Adeshola. You have the floor now.
You're so welcome. So good evening, everybody. How is everyone doing? So in the chat, just let me know. I like to make this very, very interactive. So how are you doing? It's a Saturday night. How are you feeling? Are you tired? Are you feeling great? Are you excited, about this session? I feel honored to be here and to impart knowledge to the majority of you on this call. So in the chat, how are you feeling? Good, excited, you can't wait, tired, you name it. Let me know how you're all feeling. So my name, it was Project Comp. Okay, I do know that project, Ayodiji. Yeah. So my name is Adeshola Cole, and I am the CEO of TriTech Consulting Limited. We are a multi-award winning company where we've helped numerous candidates secure roles within the IT sector. And today, I just want to talk about what we do, but mostly really encourage a lot of you that perhaps have come from a non-technical background. So I'm guessing, let's have a look in the chat. So how many of you are from Nigeria or outside of the UK and you're looking to transition? So just give me a yes if you are in Nigeria currently and you want to travel, you want to transition into tech or, anywhere at all. So just give me a yes. You are not in the UK, you're in Nigeria, Africa. Give me a yes. I just want to understand the audience that we have. So just yes, yes, yes. You're currently in Nigeria. You want to travel. Fantastic. And then for those of you that are in the UK presently, perhaps you're on a student visa or perhaps you're doing something else, an odd job here and there, give me a hey, just a hey. So I understand again the audience. So just give me a hey, H-E-Y, H-E-Y. If you're in the UK, but you're just doing something that perhaps you're not happy with, or an odd job, or you're not in tech but you want to understand how. Again, I just want to understand the audience. Fantastic. Good. So it helps me understand the audience on the call. Okay, Right. So what does TriTech do? What we do is we help you transition into tech. And when we say tech, we have multiple courses that you could join. So from project management to business analysis to data analysis to cybersecurity and so on and so forth. And I think the wonderful thing for me is that technology is here to stay, number one. And number two, you will find that a lot of companies right now are very happy to employ people from our community, the Black community, African community, Nigerian community. And I think that's awesome in itself. Now, for those of you in Nigeria, how do you transition when you don't have that UK experience? Now, we all remember what happened with COVID. So what was the key thing that happened with COVID? So in the chat, who could tell me the key thing that happened when COVID came about? What happened to every company, every training institution? What happened with the training and the work ethic itself? So who could tell me what happened in the chat? Let's have a look. So everything fantastic. Well done, Toyin. So remote working. Okay, so that was the key thing that happened post-COVID. And guess what? For those of you on this call, that's an added advantage because now you can do your training, you can do your work experience from anywhere in the world. So I'm going to focus on those of you in Nigeria presently. You're looking to come to the UK. You don't want to do the odd jobs that all of us did back in the day, right? So when I came back finally to the UK, I was very, very happy doing cleaning work and working in hotels and working in bakeries because I felt that was the norm at the time. But guess what? The vision is changing. I think that the perception is changing. And a lot of my candidates in TriTech, when they're coming to relocate to the UK, they are getting high paid jobs in technology. So what do you need to do now? If you're currently in Nigeria, you need to look at a way of upskilling yourself so that when you do come into the UK, you already have that exposure into tech. You already have that experience that you need, and you're able to get that job that you desire. Now, one thing people think is this, okay, I'm not techie. So how many of you on this chat again, you're not techie? You're thinking, oh goodness, I don't know about tech. I'm not interested in tech, or I'm worried because I have no technical expertise. So again, let me see in the chat, how many of you feel that way? Or maybe you're scared because you just think that if you want to be a project manager or a business analyst, you need to have the technical know-how. So how many of you feel that way, where you're a little bit apprehensive, you know, you don't have that confidence? Maybe you're thinking your accent as well, or you're thinking you're not proficient in Excel and Word and all of those other things. Okay, thank you. So the good news is that regardless of, you know, the experience that you have, the tech industry is very, very easy for you to transition into. Don't worry about your accent. Don't worry about your certifications. Don't worry about the fact that you have no experience whatsoever. So for example, in TriTech, we give you that experience. We expose you to real projects. We expose you to what you need to do when you come into the UK and you want to transition into technology. So I really want to dispel that notion that for you to transition into technology, you need to be techie. You do not need to be techie. I will give you an example. If you're managing a family, so how many of you right now have a family, or you're managing a business, or maybe you're working where you have to manage a team, you can easily transition into technology. All you need to work on is the confidence. As long as you have that confidence, then it's very, very easy for you to break out into that industry. Now, for those of you here in the UK, obviously Ruki is going to talk about how you could get your sponsorship visas and so on and so forth. I have so many candidates on my platform where perhaps they've come in with a student visa, they've done the training, they've done the experience, and they're able to get a job within a company where they're happy to sponsor their visa, okay? And trust me, it's no different to anything, they've not done anything special. Does that make sense? They've come onto the platform, they've done the work experience, and when they've gone for an interview, they're able to confidently talk about what they've done when they have worked on a project, a live project. For me, working on live projects is really, really important. So if you want to get into technology, certifications are great, but what the interviewer really wants to focus on is the practical aspect of your career journey. So when you go for an interview, yes, they may ask you what certifications you have, but what they're really focused on is when you go or when you're working on a project, how have you saved them money? How have you completed a project within an agreed timeline on budget? How have you managed your stakeholders? How have you managed a failed project? And so on and so forth. So I really want to just dispel that notion that you need to have certification. It's an added advantage, but it's not a must. Now, why do I think that technology for me is the easiest career for you to transition into? One thing I would say is mindset. A lot of you will probably think that, okay, care, I need to do care, I need to do cleaning, all of the jobs that we did back in the day. So when I think about my own transition into tech, like I said, I did cleaning, I worked in a bakery and all of that. But for me, I think that the vision is changing. And as an African community, because I'm proudly African, we need to change our mindset. And if there's one thing I want to do tonight, is to encourage each and every one of you on this call that you are bigger than and better than what anyone else makes you out to be. And I think the biggest hindrance is confidence. And when I look at some of the success stories of some of my candidates, where they've had zero experience, zero knowledge in technology, and they're able to secure their success stories, then ladies and gentlemen, if they can do it, and if I can do it, every one of you on this call can do it. I know that there are certain jobs you need to do because, you know, you've got bills to pay. That's understandable. Or maybe family and friends will tell you that it's the easy way out. But for tonight, I want to let you guys know that that's not the easy way out, okay? I have seen candidates in Nigeria whom have joined the program and they've got high paying roles in technology. Now, what do you need to excel in these roles? Confidence, okay? Experience, transferable skills. So remember I said that you don't need to be overly technical. So when I'm talking about transferable skills, I'm talking about communication skills. Do you believe, so how many of you believe that what you're doing currently it's easy for you to transition into tech? So give me a yes or no, whether you're doing, I don't know, reception work or admin work or care work or anything at all. So how many of you believe that with what you're doing currently, it's very, very easy for you to transition into technology? So give me a yes or a no. So there's how many of you on this call? I just want to make it as interactive as possible. So Toyin said yes, Taiwo said yes. So how many of you believe that actually with what I'm doing currently, I can transition into technology? I just want to get the understanding of a lot of you. So Tower Cult said yes, Pooja said yes. A few more responses, whether it's a yes or a no, it's absolutely fine. But I really just want to understand how we're all thinking. So just a few more responses. So do you believe with what you're doing currently, you're able to transition into tech? Yes or no? Okay. So tech is easy. I love what Adibo said. Tech is easy. I can confidently tell you that I am not the most techie person, right? And if I can excel in technology, then trust me, every single one of you on this call can do it. And it's all about the mindset. Remember I said that. I think a lot of the time we're scared because we're like, okay, so for example, I had my education in Nigeria, right? So I had my university education in Nigeria, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. It wasn't as digital as what it is now. Okay, everything was done via pen and paper. So when I came back to the UK finally, I struggled a little bit. But you need to have a positive mindset. You need to be able to be determined and passionate. And trust me, in any given career that you're doing right now, it is easy for you to transition into technology. Whether you're, like I said, a receptionist or a care worker, you're managing people, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, don't let anyone deceive you into thinking that technology is hard. What you're going to be doing predominantly is managing stakeholders, okay? Managing a project. And I always say one thing, if you can manage things in your own home, if you can manage your own personal projects, then you can easily succeed as a project manager or as a business analyst. There is money to be made, number one. There is a huge demand for tech skills right now. It's huge. When I look at the success stories that we've had in TriTech, I would say that yes, TriTech is doing exceedingly well, but the market right now is running like a tap. The market right now is crazy post COVID. So why do we think, so let's make this very, very interactive. Why do we think that right now, after COVID, there's a huge demand for tech jobs? So in the chat, why do we think that is? So let's have a look at some of your responses. I love what Twain said. Twain said, yes, I can. I have little knowledge about tech, but like I said, it's not about being technical. It's about being able to manage projects and identify problems within a project and come up with solutions. So let's have a look at some of the responses as to why there's a huge demand for tech staff members right now. So Rukia has said business and system transformation. Okay, so what's happened right now? Toyin, well done. Digital transformation. What else? Why do we think that this is the best time to get into technology right now? After COVID. So we've got business and system transformation, digital transformation. What else? Flexibility. Fantastic. Thank you, Rukayat. So more people working from home. What else? Why do we think that now is the best time to get into technology? Again, digital advancements. The things that we did before COVID are very different to the things that we do now, okay? Every company right now is looking to digitalize their products and their services and their tools and so on. And because of that, there is a huge demand for project managers and business analysts and data analysts and so on and so forth. Again, guys, why do we think that post-COVID, there's a huge demand for tech specialists? High earning potential, yes, okay. Why else? So let me give you a scenario. COVID caused a lot of problems, didn't it? If we remember, a lot of companies closed down. Why did they close down? Because they were not tech savvy, or because they struggled to adjust to the new way of doing things. So every company right now is looking to solve problems post-COVID. And because every company is looking to solve problems post-COVID, what do you think is happening? There's a huge demand for project managers. There's a huge demand for business analysts and project coordinators and cybersecurity officers or analysts as well. So that is to offer some encouragement that technology is here to stay. I think this is one career that for me, it will evolve, okay? It will definitely evolve with time, but I can confidently say it's here to stay. Another reason why you need to get into technology right now, as Rukaya has said, high earning potential. There is money to be made. I have seen my candidates, earning as little as, not as little, £300 a day to £700, £800 a day. And do you know what's amazing? Because a lot of these roles are now remote, you could actually do 2 to 3 roles. Okay, so you're confidently able to maneuver yourself and manage yourself and make more money. Okay, so how many of you on this call, you've got bills to pay, you want a life that is comfortable, a life where you're able to look after your family, a life where you can do your work and also have time to enjoy yourself? So how many of you feel like that right now, where you know what your standards are, you know where you want to be, and you just need to know how to get there? So how many of you feel like that at the moment? Toyin, I feel like Toyin. So there's so many of you on this call. Toyin, well done. I need more of us to respond. So how many of you feel like that right now? You're stuck in a dead-end career and you feel like, you know what, I want to earn more money and you don't know how. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you right now that if you transition into technology, it's mind-blowing how your life will change. The life of your family will change. The life of your family and generations to come will change. And I want us to, again, try and change that mindset of, you know what, I'm not good enough, or I'm happy doing what I'm doing because it pays the bills. 10 years ago, I was working in the bank, and that was how I felt. I was a bank manager and I was very happy getting my salary that pays my bills. And that was as far as my salary went. But when I got into tech, my life changed forever. The life of my family changed forever. And of course, now that I have a company where I can help people, excel in technology, their lives are changing forever as well. And that is what I want for every one of you on this call, okay? For us as a community, as a predominantly African community, it's important for us to earn that money that people are making, okay? It doesn't mean that these people making this money are better than you or brighter than you and smarter than you. No. But they've taken that gamble, they've taken that sacrifice, they put their head down and say, I want better and I deserve better. And I feel like that was the key point for me. When I was in the bank for many years and I saw my friends earning £500 a day, £800 a day, £600 a day, yes, I wasn't confident. I wasn't confident in myself. But then I began to realize that, you know what, this is very, very easy. So for me, as much as I want to sell TriTech and as much as I want to talk about, how we can help you, I'm passionate about us changing our mindset and subjecting ourselves to jobs that we're not comfortable in, or because somebody has told us that it's the only way out, or because we are not confident in how we can deliver and what we can deliver. And for every one of you on this call, I want you to know that every one of you has a skill set. You have something that makes you stand out. You have something that is unique about you. Whether you've discovered it yet or not, I do not know. But I want to encourage you all to make that change today. Working in all of these odd jobs, okay, it pays the bills, but you're bigger than that. You're smarter than that, and you're better than that. Is everyone with me? I'm very passionate about, helping people transition regardless of what industry they have come from, because I've walked in the shoes of a lot of my candidates from zero experience, from zero confidence, and so on. So what happens now? How do you gain the confidence? That's a really good question. You need to put yourself out there. Okay, so in TriTech, for example, the practical work experience alone will enable you to engage with stakeholders, will enable you to tackle those projects, in full force. Okay, so you need to be able to practicalize all of this theoretical knowledge that you have, put yourself forward. Don't shy away from doing things, okay? And I think something that's very, very important as well, don't compare yourself to anybody. I say this all the time, that your journey is different from the journey of somebody else, okay? But have a plan for yourself. And for those of you that, are passionate about wanting to, go into technology, look at what you're doing currently, and then look at those transferable skills. So what are some of these transferable skills? Effective communication, emotional intelligence, stakeholder management, conflict management, and so on and so forth. So a lot of you already have those transferable skills. Then what you could also do as well is start to have a look at job specifications. So you can go on to JobServe, you can go on to Indeed, and then you can look at what the requirements are for you to transition into technology. So what are the steps to transition into these jobs? Identify what you're doing currently, okay? Identify those transferable skills that you might possess already, and then identify the gaps. Once you've identified the gaps, then you can go for your training, hopefully within TriTech or any IT company, so that you can build on those gaps that you may have. So Taiwo, hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions, guys, especially for those of you that you have zero knowledge, zero experience, zero confidence, and you really want to know how it's done? Any question at all? Yeah, so what TriTech does in essence is we give you training. So you get trained in project management and business analysis, and then we give you the practical work experience. So when you have that experience and you go for an interview, you're confident enough to go for an interview and talk about the experience that you have. You can then put that on your CV, and then you can get your job of your choice, and then we give you a reference as well. So that is how we help you transition into tech. Any other questions, guys? Am I doing okay with time, Ayodiji?
I think you're on time.
Okay.
I was about to just private message you.
I'm sorry, I can go on and on and on, okay? But I just want to make sure that thank you. So I just want to make sure that, I've covered any question at all, guys, at all, do you have a link? Yes. I will put that in the group. So you can follow us on Instagram. I'm just going to type that now. So that's our Instagram page where you will see all of our success stories. So already this year, we're on 175 success stories. I love this question. Is there an age limit to employment? No, absolutely not. We've had a 19-year-old secure a success story. We've also had a 60-year-old secure a success story. So no, not at all. I like that question. Any other questions, guys? Yes, so it's not a free training package, although we do discount it heavily by up to 40%. So you'll get your training and your work experience and your mentorship. There is a fee to this, but I like to make sure that the fee that I offer is something that is affordable to everybody. Any other questions, guys? Before Ayodiji kicks me off here. Okay, so the original fee is £750, and on the 24th of September we have a taster session. So every month we have a taster session, and then we discount it by up to 40%. How long is the training? So the training is 6 consecutive Saturdays, and then the work experience is for 2 to 3 months. I would advise that the first thing you would need to do is join our taster session, taking place on the 24th of September. So follow us on Instagram and send us a direct message, and send us your full name, email address, and phone number, and then we can register you for the free taster session itself. Do you help? Yes, we do, Toyin, we do. So if there are no more questions, I would just say, yes, once a month. Yeah. So I think just to wrap up, I would say, dig a little deeper in regards to what you're passionate about. Identify what you're doing currently and some of the transferable skills that you might have. Have confidence in yourself, okay? It doesn't matter what background you come from, what your accent is like, what your educational background is like, okay? As long as you have the experience, it's very, very easy for you to transition. And don't let anybody tell you that you have to do certain jobs because that is the only job that they can offer you in the UK. I can confidently tell you right now that as long as you do the training, you work on yourself, and you get that experience that you need, the sky is your limit, and there's nothing stopping you from getting a high-paid job in technology, regardless of what you're doing currently. So I hope that helps. We offer a certificate of completion. So Ayodele, do you want me to just stay on and answer questions in the chat and then hand it back to you?
I think do you mind if you respond to them on the chat so we can bring up the next speaker, because of we're running out of time, and I'm sure, so I'm sure other people will have questions. So as the questions come, you can respond to them if that's okay.
Sure, that's fine.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much, Adeshola. Thank you. Yeah, this is so insightful, and I'm sure everyone has, gotten a better understanding of the whole transitioning to a different career. And two major things that I heard Adeshola talk about was basically you don't have to be techie. So you don't have to know much about, you don't have to be a technical person for you to have a smooth transition. And also another major thing that you need is confidence. So once you have confidence, you can do anything as long as you're willing to learn, as long as you give your time. And that's one thing I learned when I was in TriTech. You have to be able and willing to learn. You need to spend time learning from people that have done it. Just be teachable and be open. So confidence is key. You don't have to be techie. And then you can have a smooth transition. Another thing that I think which is good for everyone is about a high potential of earning much more, having a better lifestyle for your family. And I'm sure we can all agree that that's one of the number one things that a lot of people, we humans, are worried about, how to fend for a family and be comfortable. So you can attain that while you transition. So every question you have, make sure you go on Instagram. Adeshola has put the link there. Make sure you go on Instagram, send a DM, and all the questions that you want answered would be answered. And don't forget, there's a tester session on the 24th of September, and the tester session is once every month. So if you feel you want to go into that field, which I'll advise you to, please send her a message. So I'm gonna go straight to the next speaker, and the next speaker is Rukayat Alabi. Rukayat Alabi is a career and strategist, and she's the CEO of Rookie, if I hope I pronounced that correctly, Rookie Careers, who has supported numerous international students. So this is really good now. If you're an international student, I want you to really key into everything that she's saying. Like I said before, have your notepad and your pen to write down key information that you need. So she supported numerous international students and professionals to land their desired jobs in the UK. So I'm just gonna go straight and bring up Rukayat. So let me see if I can spotlight you. Oh yeah, there you are. Lovely. So and I don't need you. Oh yes. So go ahead, Rukayat. Thank you for coming. We're pleased to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm super I'm super, what would I call it, pumped, taking over from Adeshola of TriTech. So yes, thank you for inviting me as well. I'm really honored to be speaking here. So I'll be sharing my screen that would guide my discussion for today. So let me know if you're able to see my screen. Oh, okay, the host has disabled participant screen sharing. So I'll need that to be enabled so that
I'll give you I'll just enable you to share your screen.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Can you try that again, please?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I thought I saw it just a second ago.
Yeah, I'm resharing.
Oh yeah, we can see it.
Okay, can you see it now?
No, not at the moment. It's gone off.
Let's see.
Yes, we can see it now.
Great.
Yes.
It's so cool. So today, like have been introduced, I'm Rukayat. I'm a career strategist, coach, and also the founder, CEO of RQY Careers. I've supported lots of international students and international professionals just landing in the UK, to navigate the UK job market and land their desired jobs. And as we all know, most international students, what is, I would say, priority, or what is a common goal to everyone is to secure visa sponsorship, right? Because that is what would enable them to be able to continue to stay in the UK and work in the UK in the long run. So I believe everyone can hear me, right? If you can hear me, just just let me know in the comments, in the chat section. So I'll go straight to my slides as time is fast spent. So who can get visa sponsorship? Anyone and everyone can get visa sponsorship. Either you're within the UK, either you're outside the UK. However, what we'll be talking about today are the strategies, the correct way to position yourself, the right way to utilize every second or minutes that you have, towards achieving that end goal. Because I mean, at the end of the day, nobody wants to invest so much, in either coming to do masters in the UK and end up going back home because they're unable to secure visa sponsorship. And even beyond visa sponsorship, right? Because I also support people who are also who also do not need visa sponsorship, right? A lot of immigrants, a lot of people like us as well, struggle to navigate, in the UK job market or the job market in another environment, in another country, especially if either you had your previous education or had your previous experience, in another environment entirely. Is most usually a different ball game, the way things are done, the way jobs are found, the way you position yourself in a different environment. And this is why I found RQY Careers, because when I moved to the UK myself, having been a professional also in Nigeria, it was still kind of different, trying to understand the UK job market, how to apply for jobs, the right things to do, and all that. So I believe that at the end of today's session, we would go on with key strategies to apply that has been tested and trusted by my clients, by my mentees, and by a lot of people as well, that would help you to achieve your desired goal. So what are the possible visa sponsorship routes to explore? we have at the moment 3 main ones. We have the skilled worker visa, which is popularly called the Tier 2 visa. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that. For those who need this visa sponsorship or who are on the path where they would actually need it at some point. The second most popular one, or maybe I don't even know which one is first or second, but is the health and care visa or the healthcare worker visa. So that's the one that doctors, nurses, as well as carers used to come into the UK, if they are eligible. And the third route is the scale up visa, which was just recently launched. It's been in the talks for a while now, but it was just recently launched 2 weeks ago, 2 Mondays ago. And I'm sure if you go to the government's website, gov.uk, you can read about this. You can read more in details about what the eligibility criteria are and what you need to have to be able to get this sponsorship. But the key thing is experience, because just like Adeshola said as well, post-COVID as well, and post-Brexit, because there's a lot of events have triggered the UK to want to attract talents now from across the world, as well as, talents and skills, as well as the income as well that they bring with them. So, so post-Brexit, there was a lot of talent gap, across different job roles, which made the UK government to relax the visa routes to attract people to come in to also contribute to the UK economy. So the skilled worker visa is the 5 years route, which we might all know. So it's a 5 years route where an employer would sponsor your work visa, also called work permit in some other countries. And that would enable you to work legally, bring your family in the UK. So, and yeah, you can get this either from within the UK or from outside the UK. We have the scale up visa as well. So the scale up visa is a 5 years route as well. However, this seems like an easy one, looking at it from the candidate's angle. It's one that proposes like a 2 years. It's the first visa you would get to be 2 years. However, you only need 6 months sponsorship. You only need to work for 6 months for the company that would be sponsoring you initially, after which you can leave them. In the remaining 1.5 years, you can work anywhere else without needing sponsorship anymore. And after that 2 years, you can also renew if you have continued to maintain the conditions of the visa without needing sponsorship as well for the remaining 3 years, after which you would be eligible for ILR if you have maintained all the conditions. So like I said, you can go to the government websites to read more about these routes. The health and care visa, like we all know, is the one I mentioned, the carers, the ones that doctors and nurses also use to come into the UK. So it's also an alternative route. And yes, and then we also have other visas like the charity visa, and other work visas like the charity visas and all that. And we also have other non-work visas that attract talents as well. We have the startup visa, the innovator visa, the global talent visa. If time permits, we might actually touch on that probably later on, because there are also potential routes, for students as well to consider, at the end of their studentship or at the end of their post-study visa, if this visa sponsorship jobs are not forthcoming. But I believe that if the strategies I'm going to be talking about are applied, I believe that we would achieve our goals of getting the visa sponsorship in the end. So what are the fields with with potential for sponsorship? There are lots of fields. We have some tech roles. That's why I divided this into 2, tech roles and non-tech roles. Just like Adeshola said, the tech role has a very high potential for visa sponsorship. In addition to the high earning potential, the flexibility and other things that it offers, it also has a very high potential for visa sponsorship. So we have roles like software developer, project manager, business analyst, the core coding and the non-coding fields in tech as well. So this is just to mention a few. Of course, there are lots of roles that offer visa sponsorship, but this is just to mention a few that we have seen in our daily research for visa sponsorship jobs. So first, we also have non-tech roles that have potential for visa sponsorship as well. In finance, we have internal and external audits, financial analysis, financial analysts. We have the support workers, we have the social workers, we have the pharmacists, the doctors, the GPs, and the likes. So moving on, this are a snapshot. This is a snapshot of a couple of companies that are usually recruiting and are actually open to offering visa sponsorship as well. We have lots of people who have gotten sponsorship from these companies, the big four, the KPMG, the PwC, the Ernst & Young. That's for those in the consultancy field, and as well as the audits. Then NHS, across different roles, the health related roles and the non-health related roles. A lot of people have gotten project manager roles that offering sponsorship, PMO analyst roles offering sponsorship in NHS. We also have Quali, Bloomberg, Ocado, and the rest. There are loads of companies. If you follow our LinkedIn page, RQI Careers on LinkedIn, it's more like a job board where we share strictly visa sponsorship jobs for those to make, because the process of searching for visa sponsorship jobs can be daunting. So we try to narrow down this search by posting visa sponsorship jobs on that platform regularly. So you can as well get familiar with the names and try to apply to the other jobs that they're also recruiting for. So having said that, having mentioned a couple of roles, like I said, the roles are not limited to what we have on the slides. So I believe that there are people here as well, probably whose roles did not feature on those previous slides, but that does not mean that your role does not have potential for visa sponsorship. How do you know if your role has potential for visa sponsorship, or how can you do that research by yourself? And that brings me to this slide. There are two major lists that you can use to search for this, for the potential to know whether your job or your occupation is eligible for the visa sponsorship. So the first one is the skilled worker visa list. It has the list of, it's a big list of occupations that if you are able to get these job roles in a company that has a license and is willing to use the license to sponsor, right, you can actually get visa sponsorship. So whether or not these jobs are advertised as offering visa sponsorship, so long as you can secure a role in a company that is willing to offer you sponsorship, you can get this sponsorship through these occupations. We also have the shortage list, which is an extract from the skilled worker visa list. So the shortage list are the occupations that are actually high in demand as well as in shortage, and the difference between the two lists is that occupations that are on the shortage list actually allows you to earn 80% of the going rate. So there's actually also a minimum rate that you need to earn. Even if you get a project manager role now and the company is willing to sponsor you, they need to be offering you the minimum salary requirements for that role that you would see on this list, right? However, if the job it's under the shortage occupation list, then you don't need to earn up to 100%. 80%, is fine for you to get this sponsorship. There's a third list now, which is the scale up worker visa shortage list, because the requirements for the scale up visa is a bit higher. It's not on this slide, but you can also check it out if you are trying to position yourself for scale up visa, or if you are trying to apply for jobs in a scale up company and you want to know what salary you should actually be targeting. So the next thing, having checked this list, right, the next thing to do is to actually do a proper job search, because to be honest, there might be this list do not necessarily guarantee that you would actually get sponsorship in that field. It doesn't end there. The fact that, so for instance, now we have lots of occupations that are on the shortage list, right, and they even have lesser potential than some on the skilled worker visa list. That's the bigger list, right? Because probably as of when the data was gathered, or probably there's actually no shortage in those fields, I don't know. But there are some, for instance, now project manager role is on the skilled worker visa list. Is not a shortage, is not on the shortage list, right? However, I know a lot of people who have gotten project management, who have gotten sponsorship in project management field. And there are some occupations as well you see on the shortage list that do not actually offer that kind of potential. So the next thing to do, like I was saying, is to do a search on LinkedIn. Actually, whatever that job title is or your target role is, you have to do like a search. For instance, you could do business analyst plus visa sponsorship, or you could do business analyst visa sponsorship jobs. Whatever way you try to search, just make sure the keywords are in the search, visa sponsorship and your job role, and then you put the desired location, United Kingdom, of course, and then you take your time to actually go through these jobs. One thing I'll tell you to note when doing this is that a lot of jobs will come up that are actually not offering sponsorship. However, they will come up because the keywords visa sponsorship have been used, and recruiters use this also to send people off, like, for this role we are not offering sponsorship, just to be clear, so that people that are looking for sponsorship would not apply. So this kind of results would also show. So you need to be patient, and you need to be patient to actually go through one after the other to check and gauge, okay, how much opportunities are out there. And again, one thing I would say is that you can't also rely on seeing that, you can't also, because there are lots of jobs that are not advertised, that would not come up, that are not advertised as offering visa sponsorship, but that would eventually give you sponsorship, either based on relationship or based on some other things. We'll get to that when we get to the strategies that you can use to get the visa sponsorship. So the next thing to do after checking LinkedIn, because of course we know LinkedIn is like one of the biggest resource and tool for job search, but we still have the good old Google, so search as well on Google, business analyst visa sponsorship jobs, or project management visa sponsorship jobs, or finance analyst. Let me not limit to just business analyst and project management. Finance analyst business visa sponsorship jobs, or digital marketing visa sponsorship jobs. So one thing Google would do for you is to bring out results from different job boards, right? And you can as well open job board after the other. Prioritize, of course, the ones that have better results, because some of the job boards would just aggregate from the main job boards. So you can look at Indeed, you can look at Reed, JobServe, UK Hired, Total Jobs, CV Library, and check the results one after the other. How much visa sponsorship jobs are you seeing in this field? So that is one way to actually do your research yourself. Nobody has to cast your career path down to say that there's no potential for sponsorship, but you can do your research yourself to find out if the career path. And this is how everybody that shares visa sponsorship jobs across different platforms also search for them. When we post on our LinkedIn as well, this is how we search for visa sponsorship. You can also set a job alert after doing all this search as well, to continue to get notifications when there are new offerings or new job roles in that field. So we'll move next to the strategies for UK residents. So before I go on, because I think I've been talking too much, how many of you here do not have LinkedIn? Or how many of you have LinkedIn? Because if you are trying to get jobs in the UK and you do not have LinkedIn, that's one of the things that, you might have been doing differently in your home country that was working. You don't have a LinkedIn profile, you probably don't even have a CV, you just, word of mouth. You get jobs through word of mouth or through references and introductions. But if you are trying to get a job in the UK market, LinkedIn is a very important tool. So, I mean, is there anyone here who does not have a LinkedIn profile or who does not have a LinkedIn account? Well, if there are, I would say that, if that's the only thing you take out of this place, you need to go set up your LinkedIn accounts, because LinkedIn is a very powerful tool to help you get, your to help you get your desired jobs in the UK. So moving on to strategies for UK residents. So I would break this down into UK residents and foreign residents, because I believe that, like I've seen earlier as well, we have audience from Nigeria, from other countries, and we also have UK residents. We have people who are students, dependents of students, post-study visa holders, and other categories of people who want to know how to get the visa sponsorship. So for UK residents, right, I would say that we should break your journey down into different into months. Because to be honest, if you're setting a goal or if you're setting a target for something, you need to be able to break it down so that you can measure yourself at each stage and not just run, wait at the end of your post-study visa or at the end of your student visa is when you now realize that you have actually you did not utilize or you did not utilize those your months or your days or your time properly. So what I usually advise, first of all, let's start from students, because of course we know students have restrictions on their visas, that limits them to be able to only work for 20 hours a week. So as a student, I would say that there isn't really much you can do while being a student. However, one good thing you can do is to set your plan, have your plan. When I say there's really nothing much you can do, I'm not saying you can't work, but in terms of doing relevant jobs, a lot of students explore contract roles, temporary roles as well, and some explore customer service. But I'm sure that if you're a student, you already know what obtains, because of the 20 hours restriction you have on your student visa. However, before you round up your studies, I would always advise that you should have a plan. Do not wait, because a lot of people also get this sponsorship a few months down the line, because from 3 months before the end of your visa, you are eligible to change your visa. You are eligible to get a full-time job, So from as long as you've submitted your dissertation, you can get a letter from the school that, you'll be finishing so at a particular time or at a particular time, say 3 months down the line, or that you're done with school and you can actually start taking full-time jobs. So I've shared a lot of people who got visa sponsorship just at the end of their student visa, and some got a letter to show that they would be done 3 months time. And the reason why this is feasible is because even we that are not students, right, 3 months notice is a viable notice period in the work environment here. For instance, my notice is 3 months as well. So I think if as a student, you also say you have 3 months notice, meaning that you'll be ready to work full-time in 3 months time. However, you can probably work part-time in the interim. A lot of companies also still interview for 3 months, for 3 months time. So having said that, for students, before the end of your studies, try to make sure that you do you have a set goal of how you intend to move on, what you want to do. So if probably if what you've studied is your next career path, optimize your brand, work on your CV, work on your LinkedIn, and put yourself out there even right before you are done with your studies, so that you start networking with recruiters, you start engaging, you start, there's something they call mark to market. You start marking yourself to market. Am I even getting calls? Am I getting messages? Am I actually, do I have all the necessary skills? Do I need to actually upskill before the end of this master so that I'm job ready as soon as I'm done with my master's, or as soon as I'm done with everything, I'm job ready and I can get into the job market straight away. So that is for the students. And then I'll take it from the 1st to 6 months now. So this 1st to 6 months now will be from when you are able to work full-time, or from when you're able to work full-time, either at the end of your studies at the beginning of your stay in the UK as a dependent, or as a post-study visa holder at the beginning of your post-study visa. So the first thing I would advise anybody to do and everybody to do is to do a career map and skill audit. What do I mean by career map and skill audit? Career map and skill audit is when you sit down, identify what are those transferable skills that you have, that you're bringing from wherever you're coming from. What are the skills you have? What career path are you looking at, based on your research of what the job market is offering in the new location you are, so do a career map, do a skill audit. I'm looking at, going into project. I've looked at the UK job market, or I've looked at my condition, I need visa sponsorship. However, all I did in my past role was customer service. What would customer service offer me in the UK? So career mapping is more like a research and assessment stage, where you look at both the markets as well as what you actually hold as well, and what you have to offer in that market. So having done that, there are two things. You could either decide, okay, you could either conclude that you're ready, right? You're ready to like get into the market, or that you have found a gap to fill, right? And this gap, or this gap, or probably you found that maybe the field that you are to does not actually have potential for sponsorship, and you've seen that you actually need to have a career transition. And that will take me to my next point, which is career transition. You need to okay, so I haven't found that, okay, the field here does not have potential for sponsorship, or does not give you the flexibility you need, either because of childcare or because of a lot of other reasons. We all have different motivations and reasons why we want to have a career transition, right? So whatever it is your motivation or reason is, if you have decided that, okay, the next thing you need is to have a career transition, then make sure that is done also within the first to 6 months. And what is career transition? Career transition is when you decide that, you need to actually acquire new skills. You need to actually change your career path. And that's why in companies like Tritech, that's where they come in. They help you, hold your hands, provide you with the experience you need to actually have a smooth transition into these new careers. Like I said, one of the fields that have high potential for sponsorship is tech. And of course, as people who are coming from non-tech backgrounds, we would definitely, swerve towards the non-coding tech related courses or fields. And that's why we have institutions like Tritech, that actually offer you that use framework that actually gives you real life experience, practical experience, that you can use to defend whatever it is that you're trying to get. So for instance, in the UK job markets, like she also said, certifications does not really certifications are good, right? However, they are good, they are not they are not what you need to transition or to get a job at all in the UK. What you need to do is to be able to demonstrate experience. And for you to be able to demonstrate experience, then you need to have the experience, right? So that's why it's good to join boot camps or training programs that would give you the opportunity to acquire that experience, such that you can actually defend, answer questions at interviews, and demonstrate expertise in the field that you're trying to transition into. The next thing to do is to upskill and train. And this is quite different from career transition in the fact that, this might be that, okay, you haven't done your career mapping and skill audits. You still probably want to be in the same path. However, you found that in the UK job market or in the UK, the way that particular role is what they do in that role is different from what you actually do. So for instance, now you're an accountant, right? And coming from Nigeria, for instance, I'll use Nigeria as an example. All you do as an accountant is debits and credits. In the UK, if you transition to the UK as an accountant, the accountant roles, don't get me wrong, however, they are like the low paying parts of finance industry. There are lots of other job roles, right, that are more that within the finance space, or that accountants actually do here, because there are lots of software that do the debits and credits for us. And even if you do that research, okay, and you found that, okay, I still want to be in finance space, but I want to be a finance analyst. The roles that, like, for instance, have those that are high in demand in the UK in the finance areas are finance analyst, finance business partnering, commercial finance analysts, and the likes. A lot of them, finance transformation manager. There are loads of areas. However, like the role accountants, and all that might not actually you might find them, but they're usually like the very low paying part. And if you find that, okay, there's nothing that these people do that I cannot do. The only thing is that I cannot use Excel properly, I cannot use Power BI properly, I cannot use SQL, and then you found a gap that you need to fill. So probably you need to also join, you find a training institute as well to join, to learn these skills or learn online, so this is you filling a gap, to actually equip yourself better for your same field in the new environment. So for instance, my own company as well, I render trainings for people that want to learn Excel. If you want to learn Excel from basic to intermediate, if you want to learn from intermediate to advanced, if you want to learn Power BI, SQL, and the likes, so because I've found that is also there's in-demand skills here, and there's a wide gap, having worked with lots of candidates and lots of clients. So that's what upskilling and training mean. And then the next thing after doing all this is to optimize your brand and secure a job, if possible within the first 6 months as well. So say for instance, you have done you are in tech already, I have everything I need, then what you need to still do is to work on your brand, because the CV you're bringing from Nigeria would not, might not actually be giving you, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I've done this, I've worked in this field. However, I'm getting unfortunately, and when I check their CV, I'm not usually surprised why they are getting unfortunately, and the way they've branded themselves is either their CV is underselling them, or their CV or their LinkedIn profile is not selling them properly. And just like we all know, we might when we talk about brand, right? Brand is what represents us. So it might be in South Africa, in Nigeria, or anywhere. But our CVs and our LinkedIn profile is what represents us, is what people use to make perceptions of us. So even if you are having a career transition, at the end of the transition, you still need to be able to work on your brand as well, to be able to show a career progression even before you transition, identifying the most transferable skills that are relevant to the new field. And that's what my company do for people as well. So most people that are ending their career transition program or upskilling or just moved to the UK and want to work on their CV to be able to stand a very good chance of getting jobs in the UK. So you can choose to do this yourself. You can choose to do this yourself, but a lot of people find results when they engage professionals to do this for them. So that will move me to the next stage, which is 6 to 12 months. So let's say you've utilized your first 6 months, you've done your training, you're done, secure a relevant job. So if you have not been able to secure in the first 6 months, so the next thing to do is to try to secure a job in the 6 to 12 months, so that job does not necessarily have to be a sponsorship job. And the reason why I would say you should not target sponsorship job, at the beginning, especially if you have a right to work, is because in the UK job market, out of, say, if there are like 600,000 jobs in the UK job market, if 600 out of that 600,000, say maybe just 70,000 out of those jobs are advertised as offering visa sponsorship. So imagine if you are stressing yourself applying to only 70,000. And don't forget that the number of people trying to get these jobs from within the UK are enormous, same as those that are trying to also compete for this job from outside the UK. So I would say that if you have a right to work, say as a post-study visa holder or as a dependent, or probably at the end of your student visa, from the moment you are able to work full-time, do not necessarily limit yourself to that 70,000 jobs, like spread your wings wide, or how do this, spread your nets wide. And and because a lot of companies actually have this license, right, but they do not advertise that they are offering sponsorship, but they would offer someone who is able to prove themselves, right? Probably after 3 months in the job, after 6 months in the job, if you're outstanding, if you're the problem solver of your company, if you are the go-to. The key here is when you get this job, you need to be outstanding. You need to be outstanding. You need to perform. And there have been a lot of cases where companies that didn't even have license, right, actually went ahead to obtain license just to keep one person, that they feel that has enormous value for their company. So I would say that try to get a job. And even if this first job does not give you visa sponsorship, right, there's potential that when you have obtained your first UK experience, right, you'll be able to negotiate better for visa sponsorship, either within that company or even outside. So I would say that's for those who have not secured the job. So let's say if you have secured the job and you're already like 6 months into the job, the next thing to do in this stage is to start to negotiate for visa sponsorship in this current job. And this you can do by talking to your manager. Even if it wasn't offered at the point of employment, you can always talk to your manager that you need visa sponsorship, and they could either file for you if they have the license, or if you are good enough, or they feel that they want to, they can actually obtain this license for you. And another thing that you can do is another thing that you can do is to start exploring other alternatives. Not that you can do, you must do. Even if you secure your first job today, add that first job to your profiles, but I'm not saying that you should be ready to jump from day one, but add it to your profile. Do not ever leave the job market at any point in time, and be active. Continue to network with recruiters. But the thing is, when they come to you now, you're negotiating for visa sponsorship. Okay, you have a job. They can see it from your profile before they reached out to you that you have a job somewhere. And if you had to leave that job, the visa sponsorship is a deal breaker for you, right? So that's another once you secure the first job, give yourself about 6 months for experience, right? But still, from day one, start applying to visa sponsorship jobs, or start negotiating for visa sponsorship with recruiters. That way, even if 3 months down the line you get the visa sponsorship, you can move. And if not, you can give yourself 6 months and then move as well. So that will take me to, and yeah, I've already explained this, start exploring other opportunities outside the company if the company is not willing to offer you the sponsorship. And then that will take me to the 12 to 18 months. If by 12, after utilizing 1 year of your post-study visa or your dependent visa, the next thing to do is to negotiate for visa sponsorship in your current job. That's if you haven't gotten by that time, right? Or if you had changed jobs. You can also change jobs that are not to. So say, for instance, the first job you get is like, say, £40,000, but you know that your role that you are in and the experience that you have gotten in that your current job, plus probably the training you've attended, you should actually be looking at maybe 70K by now. If you get a 70K offer that is not offering you sponsorship, you can still try to change jobs to that one. Nothing wrong in earning higher. Like we said, we are in a higher earning field, and you can still even get sponsorship in a higher earning field than to get it in a lower earning field. But those are two things should make you change your job, right? Either it's offering you visa sponsorship, or is giving you a higher paying opportunity. So negotiate for visa sponsorship in your current job. If you haven't gotten, explore higher paying opportunities as well. Negotiate with recruiters for visa sponsorship in new job offers. Because if you have actually worked on your CV and LinkedIn, because some people get their first jobs out of luck, and when maybe those contracts run out, their LinkedIn was not even working for them, they still end up, I have lots of people too that have had their first jobs or second jobs. Even I have people that I haven't far gone in their career, right? But I am unable to switch because they haven't actually, their LinkedIn was not actually working, or their CV was not actually well optimized. They got the first set of jobs probably out of a lot of other reasons. So in the last few months of your visa, you've had your first 6 months, you've had the next 6 months, you've had another 6 months. And if you've been really keen negotiating for visa sponsorship, you should have secured it by then, in the last 6 months of your visa. If not, then continue to negotiate for visa sponsorship, right? Continue to negotiate for visa sponsorship. Lots of companies offer people that are already in the system based on relationship. They offer them visa sponsorship, and then explore alternative routes. To be honest, it's not just visa sponsorship, that is the routes that you can explore to continue to stay in the UK. We have the startup visa. The startup visa is for people who have innovative ideas, who have innovative ideas that are scalable, viable, and have the potential to grow in the UK, and innovative as well. So this allows you to stay in the UK for 2 years. It does not lead to a permanent residency. However, you would run your business and you would still get, I mean, and you can also work for another company. So you can actually be doing your main job and running the company. And after this visa, you can either now get a sponsorship job or move to the Innovator Visa. And that will take me to the Innovator Visa. So the Innovator Visa is also very similar to the Startup Visa. The difference is just that you need to be able to show £50,000 in an account, in your account or in a family member's account, you know, to that you have ready to invest in the business. You're not giving this 50K to anybody, but you're just showing it to be that you have it to invest. But you can't work on this visa. They propose to change these conditions, but they haven't yet. So, but if you have used a startup visa before, then you can move to an innovator visa without needing that 50K because you've been running a business in the UK on the startup visa. The good thing about the innovator visa is that it allows you to settle like 3 years after holding the innovator. Is a 3 years visa after you run the business successfully. Of course, there are always conditions to be met for the visa, right? So if everything is met, you can actually get your ILR 3 months after obtaining the visa. And after you get your ILR for 1 year, you can become a British citizen. You don't need, you can apply for these visas as well from Nigeria, from India, from any country that you are trying to move to the UK for. We also have the Global Talent Visa. That one is very strict on eligibility. You have to be a talent in your field. You have to be a talent or promise. There are loads of other alternatives that you can also explore, but this is so that, you know, you don't have to give up on your dream of probably, you know, relocating to the UK or living in the UK. So, I mean, and it's not impossible to get visa sponsorship, don't get me wrong. However, it's highly competitive. More people are coming. I read statistics yesterday of the number of people that were given student visas from Nigeria, and it went up from 5,000 to 67,000 people. So that's to let you have an idea of what the competition now looks like in the market. And this is just Nigeria. Nigeria is just, you know, we have loads of other countries that also have UK as interest. We have India, we have China, we have Ghana, we have all the other countries. So the competition is stiff. It's so, and the next one, strategies for foreign residents. The good thing for foreign residents is that I'm not going to be doing the different segments because you don't need that. You're applying straight from your countries, and you're applying straight from your countries. You also need to do a career map, right? You also need to do research to know whether the field you're trying to get a job in has potential for visa sponsorship. And if it doesn't, you need to upskill. You need to do a career transition to move into fields that actually have this higher potential for sponsorship. And the good thing about the UK is that, like someone asked, there's no age that is too late, you know, or too early to transition. People transition at 50, people transition at 60, people change jobs at 60, people change jobs at 50. And that's the beauty. You know, I know that back home, the experience that people have at mid age, or what do they call, like 40s and above, is that when you lose a job, it's always very difficult to transition into another job, you know, especially if probably while holding that job, you did not even add value, you did not acquire more skills that would also continue to make you relevant, not just locally, but globally as well. But the good thing about the UK is that, you know, as a 50 years old person, you can decide to start another career path and you would get a job if you actually have the experience. So what I would say for people that are applying from outside the country is that they should work on their brand. Of course, you need to do your CV, you need to work on your LinkedIn, you know, you need to work on all this, because if at all you want to give it a try, then you need to give yourself a good opportunity to stand a very good chance. And one thing I would say in addition is that you need to manage your expectations. I mean, we're not saying it's not possible to get these jobs from outside the country, but you need to know that it's a marathon and not a sprint, right? The competition is stiff even for people in the UK. So, I mean, even if you transition today, I mean, like we always say, the journey for everybody is different. So people transition today within the UK and get a job today. There was someone I worked on a CV. She just finished the training, you know, with the training institute. I worked on a CV today for project manager, and she did an interview. And she got the first interview. It was her first interview for the role. I'm not even sure if she has worked before. I also prepped her for this interview, and she got the role for a PMO analyst. her first interview in that field, and she got the role. And there are some people that have been practicing project management, and they are currently and consistently and continuously applying for jobs, and their own success story has not been delivered to them yet. This is not to say they won't get it, right? But people have different journeys and different timings. So, but the thing is that at every point, always make sure that you're taking a step towards getting better. You're not complacent in your current situation. You are equipping yourself for global opportunities, right? So I would say that you can explore. I mean, a lot of people as well on my page, if you go through my success stories as well, I've worked on a lot of clients brand that eventually got jobs. The thing is that when you work on your brand, you work on your visibility on LinkedIn and all that, you will start to get recruiters reach out to you, right? You start to get interviews. But just like we are within as well, we do several interviews before we get the final yes. So, but the thing is that we are able to get more interviews because we don't have, probably we are within the UK, even if they are seeking visa sponsorship, right? But people outside, probably you get less number of interviews. So you have much longer to actually continue to be patient and continue to give it a try. But it's very possible to also get these job opportunities from outside the UK. And that would take me to the next slide. What are the things you need to achieve success on this journey? Either you are within the UK or you are outside the UK. Like I said, know what you are doing. There are lots of people, do a career skill audit and career mapping. There are loads of people. I've worked with loads of clients, and I can tell you that a lot of people, they don't know what they're doing. I know people that have been in this country since 2019, and they've been jumping from a training to the other. They will do PM today, tomorrow they will do business analysis, next tomorrow they will do data analysis. The thing is, I think it's either the motivation is not right, or they're not just getting it right, because you need to, not every, like I said earlier, not everybody's journey would be the same. The fact that you did not get a job in your own first month or second month does not mean you should now decide that this is not the one for me again. They said it's another one that is offering sponsorship, then you start doing that, so long as just continue to build yourself, continue to add skills, continue to do the research. Okay, is this what they look at job adverts? What are the requirements? What are they asking people to have to get this job? Do I have it? Do I need to add more to it? The skills are actually acquired. Do I need to learn more to go in depth into them? Do I need to learn more analytical skills? So continue to work on yourself, but know what you want to do. A lot of people that actually record success in this journey of either visa sponsorship or career transition are people who are actually proactive and people who actually know what they want. If you are proactive, say from I work with a lot of dependents who are coming to the UK. They are not in the UK yet, but maybe the husband or the wife has gotten visas, right? And they engage my services as early as possible, and their CVs and all that, right from even from Nigeria, they're already getting interviews and they're giving the dates they're landing. Those kind of people are the people that share their success stories, that get jobs in 10 days in UK, they get jobs in 3 days, in 5 days, because they've been proactive. And the other kind of people are people that would land in the UK, right? They are dependents. Somebody called me, I was telling me a story and asking me for an advice today, that somebody came into the UK, they were so overwhelmed because they didn't plan properly. They were so overwhelmed with bills that both the husband and the wife, the dependents, is doing a cleaning job because they were not patient enough to even look for job. They came in, they were not ready for the markets. They didn't even know where to place themselves. They didn't know where to start from. They just took the first job that came their way. And we shouldn't do that, right? We should try to prepare for the journey, because it's a long-term journey and we could easily get burnt out if we don't have the right motivations for the things that we do. And another thing I would say for people that are students, is that there's nothing wrong in using your post-study visa. And that would take me back to health and care, talking about health and care. There are lots of people, health and care is is a career path for a lot of people. A lot of people start as carers and they end up, being business developers in that field, recruiters in that field, being managers, even being co-founders and co-partners of their own companies, or even being founders of their own care homes, right? However, those are the people that also went there with the right motivations. They didn't just go there because because if you are in any field for the right motivation, you only want to get better there. And if you want to get better there, you will know that you will do the right things instead of looking elsewhere, while in that path, right? So a lot of people, that have very good potential to earn, to sometimes I even work on some people's brand and recruiters are already reaching out to them for 70K job, 60K job. And then they'll come back to ask me again, that Rookie, I don't want to use this post-study visa at all. Should I just apply? Should I just take care? Should I just take care sponsorship? To be honest, it's always their call because I really can't make decisions for people. But I would say, personally, even if at all, at the end of the day, I have to take, when I post-study visa gives you an extended time, to be able to apply for these jobs. Before post-study visa was introduced, people have just 4 months to try to get these jobs. Sponsorship jobs have always been there. They are not new. It's just that the time people have to explore them was shorter and it was not almost unachievable because you can actually see what people are going through getting it in 2 years. So then it was just 4 months people had, and most people don't get it, so they go back home. However, government introduced post-study visa to give more time to people to be able to, get these jobs. And it's also a good way to actually acquire UK experience that you can now leverage on to actually be able to confidently get this visa sponsorship in the end. So what I would tell people is that it's just having the right to work gives you opportunity to explore, reach your utmost potential. Rather than being stuck in a 20K job without even giving yourself a try to actually even do better. So, and even say you do all these trainings, project management, business analyst, the only way you can actually test your ability is to actually put yourself out there and not just settle for less. So like I always say, the health and care route, is a career path for some people. But if you know that you have a high potential to actually explore other routes, use the post-study visa, give yourself 2 years. If you even earn 70K in 2 years, I'm sure you won't want to settle for. I believe that if you follow these strategies, right, you will get a sponsorship, which is actually what is making you vulnerable and settle for less. So the next thing I would go to is optimize your brand. Right, optimize your brand, work on your brand, whether you're doing it from Nigeria or UK, especially if I've even transitioned. The fact that you're even relocating to another country is a transition on its own that requires you to actually sit down and look at, how you have actually how you are selling yourself. The way you need to sell yourself in the Nigerian job market is different from the way you need to sell yourself in the UK job market, right? You need to do it based on how. So you might be an HR manager in Nigeria, but what HR managers do in the UK might be different from what you did in Nigeria. The UK job market is quite different. They want expertise and not jack of all trades. Some people, it's probably in their experience as well. They might have been probably customer service in job A, admin in job B, and then they'll put all that on the CV when applying for the new project management role or the new role they've decided. To be honest, most of those kind of CVs don't actually yield results. And that's because the recruiters or the employers in the UK job market expect to see a bit of dedication to a career path as well as career progression into that path, and not here and there. So even within some fields that are already specialized, finance for instance, if you are audit, you can't have audits, finance analyst, finance business partnering as your major in all over your CV. There has to be there's a way to do it, and that's what we do professionally for people anyway. So that's that about brand. Network with recruiters and I need to move this. What do I have here? So network with recruiters, you need to network with recruiters in the Nigerian job markets, Ghanaian job markets, Indian job markets. Probably to get a job, you don't need to engage, you just call your uncle or you call somebody that knows somebody and you've already talked your way through. However, here your documents have to speak for you. Your relationship skills have to speak for you. You need to actually connect with recruiters. Like recruiters are the ones who have access to the hidden job markets. There are two job markets. We have the main job markets and we have the hidden job market. The main job markets are the ones that, when you search for jobs, you just find those jobs, you apply, and submit your application. While the hidden job markets are the ones that you would not see advertised. However, recruiters have been engaged to fill this job vacancies. So these recruiters would have been given specifications of the people they want in terms of competency, in terms of personality and all that. But the thing is that if you are not in their radar, they can't even find you. It's just like Instagram followership, for instance. If you need something but you haven't found that, or if you need something that is being offered somewhere and you're not following who is offering it, you might never actually find it. So that's just how it works as well on LinkedIn. You need to connect with recruiters. You need to engage them. When they engage you, you need to like keep a line of conversation with recruiters. Reach out to recruiters, send them cold mails, sell yourself. When they post job opportunities, reach out to them about it. When they post on their pages, comments, so you need to network with recruiters, because the more you connect with recruiters, the more they'll be able to see, because once you connect to recruiter, of course, they get a notification, right? And then they go through your profile. Some of them actually send you immediately job opportunities that they think fits your profile. So the more recruiters you connect to, the more opportunities you're exposing yourself to. So the next thing to do is to, of course, prepare for interview. If you've done all this, most of my clients, once we are done with their CV and LinkedIn, what we move to next is always interviews. So you also need to prepare for interviews, because if you do everything right, you should actually be getting interviews. You should be getting phone calls. You should be ready to talk about yourself. You should be ready to talk about your experience. The UK recruiters would usually want to have a quick chat with you first, to be sure that you're a good fit for the role before they will now, pass you on to the company to set up a proper interview. A lot of people actually, there are lots of job opportunities out there. We just have to let our preparation meet these opportunities. The way we are complaining of lack of jobs is the same way recruiters are also complaining of lack of talents. If you follow recruiters a lot, what you see them complaining about in their own posts is always talent pool, declining talent pool. So if they are complaining about declining talent pool, why can't we all match? Why can't we create a good match and solve this problem that we are having? So having said that, so yes, these are samples of visa sponsorship jobs that we post on our LinkedIn page. So you might want to follow us on LinkedIn, RQY Careers, to have access to these jobs. However, I've also taught you how to search for it yourself, but also apart from even getting these jobs on our LinkedIn page, you also get to follow recruiters. So these are recruiters now advertising visa sponsorship jobs. So if, for instance, you're not qualified for this job, or you might also follow the recruiter to want to see what they post next or the other jobs that they have available. Or you might even want to send them a mail, like I said earlier, telling him about your own peculiar skills and your offerings and why you think that if he has opportunities that he thinks you're a good fit for. Some recruiters actually some recruiters make people their projects, and well, of course, they gain, right, because the companies will pay them. But sometimes some people's job success story has been a lot of recruiters has been very instrumental to them. I know recruiters that have they would continue to bring you opportunity, more like you engage them personally and paying them, but you actually did not. But that's sometimes it just works out that way. So, and these are some samples of success stories that we have on the RQI Careers and on our Instagram page. We've supported people to get jobs in a month, in 10 days, to get visa sponsorship jobs, just by working on their brand, just by bringing out, what is essential or what recruiters want to see on their CV based on our industry expertise and understanding of the UK job market. So yeah, that's basically everything I have to say today. So I believe that there'll be lots of questions for me. Okay. So should I read should I try to read the question?
I will do that for
Okay, that's fine.
you. Thank you for your session. So there's a question here that in the case where the company wants to sponsor you, is willing to pay to 20,500 per annum, while on the UK side for the same role is 25,000 per annum. What do you do? Do you accept the offer or reject the offer? And then there's a question that do you train on MS Excel? Do you train on Excel? I think yes, she trains on Excel. She mentioned that.
Yeah,
But
I
can you speak
mentioned
to
that.
the first one, please? Speak to the
Okay,
first
so about the first one, if the government website says that the role is £25,000, right, and the company is offering you 20K, if the job is on the shortage list and 20K is 80% of £25,000, that might work. But if not, you might not be able to get even if they give you COS, it might affect your visa, coming out, because it's one of the conditions. It's clearly written on the government website that you need to earn the minimum salary requirements for the
one.
for
Okay.
the role.
So the another question is, why would you need visa sponsorship if you are already a UK resident?
So visa sponsorship applies to people who are not UK residents. And when I say UK, what do you mean UK residents? UK residents are people living in the UK, and I specifically mentioned the category I was addressing: international students, dependents, and post-study visa holders. So other types of UK residents, right, might not, of course, would not need visa sponsorship. But when I say residents, I mean people living in the UK, not necessarily UK settled residents.
Thank you. How can someone tap into the scale-up visa from outside UK? What's the first step?
It's the same steps. Find a job from a scale-up company that is offering sponsorship and apply to it and get the job.
Is there an academic IELTS requirement for sponsorship eligibility?
Yes, there's an English language requirement. It's not called IELTS. IELTS is one of the ways you can actually prove your English language proficiency. We also have the NARIC, and probably if your WAEC is less than 10 years, I think you might not need to, but it's on the government website that you need to either, have IELTS or verify your English proficiency through NARIC, ECCTIS now. You can go through the government websites to get more on that.
Thank you. Any more questions? Any more question? I don't think any question is all right. Thank you. Okay, good. Another question: if you get a sponsorship visa on a role that is not what you really want to use and want to switch to your main role, within how many months can you change employer?
I'm not sure there's a specification for that really. So long as you can change your job at any point, that's for the skilled worker visa, right? You can change your job at any point if you get another company that can sponsor you. So because even if you change your job within the same company, they need to also update your visa. So at any point you change your role that you used to get the sponsorship, or you change your company that you got the sponsorship from in the first place, you need to update your visa and apply for get a new COS from them and apply. But I'm not sure there's a time limit. But for the scale-up visa, you need to work for that company for 6 months, after which you're free. You're free from them.
So somebody is saying, does your company sponsor people into the UK?
No, at the moment.
Okay, not at the moment. I like that. Okay. So you don't have to wait till the first 2 years is over.
So,
no, you don't have
so
to.
some companies or that give you visa sponsorship also make you sign bonds. That's a different thing. It's not the government requirements. It's a contract between you and the company. So if that is the case, then you probably need to fulfill the terms of your contract with the company, right? So, but a lot of companies tell you to sign 5 years bond, 2 years bond. That's between you and the company.
How is it possible? How possible is it for me to get a remote working job in the UK, even if I'm based in Nigeria, but well trained in the IT sector, considering the security questions related to the UK?
Let me see. How is it possible for you to get remote
working job in the UK, even if I'm based in Nigeria? So there's somebody lives in Nigeria
What does she
but
mean by
wants
the
to.
security question in related to the UK? because I mean, people work remotely in the UK so long as the company is okay with where you are located. The problem is people have with people working remotely, with people working from outside the UK, is the taxes, how they remit the taxes, how they sort out taxes. But some companies that do that usually have like agents, or they have like some bodies that do all this for them. They outsource all this. So I don't know what the security question you mean. Maybe Nigerian security question issues. I don't know if that would apply that would affect your job application process or recruitment process in the UK, especially if it's remote.
Thank you. Please, there is a form on the platform. We need your feedback, so please help us fill out those forms. How do one register for your Excel training?
Yes, please send me. I just posted it. It's just a newly launched area of my business, right? So I just posted it. The link to register is on my page, so you can follow me on life_career_UK, and also send me a DM to engage me so that I can know your level of proficiency as well.
Okay, please capture that handle, life_career_UK. Can you switch between care visa to skilled worker visa?
Yes, you can switch between kind of visas, just like I answered earlier. You just need to get the new company to sponsor you and give you COS for the new role.
Okay, so would you advise HCA, that's healthcare sponsorship, even if it is not what I want, but it is cost effective, or I get post-study visa and get settled well?
Well, to be honest, like I said, healthcare is a career path for some people. And like I said, you always have to consider what works for you and your family, right? It's a 5 years journey. If you feel that 5 years to be honest, 5 years also gets over in little or no time. So if you feel that that's the sacrifice you intend to make, to take the healthcare job for 5 years, and get settled in the UK thereafter, it's okay, because we all have different peculiar situations. Of course, there's no one size fits all strategy. At the end of the day, you need to go back home and look at what works best for you and your family. Post-study visa is quite expensive. That's what we get the most about the post-study visa, that some people who have a family of 5, how can they pay for 5 people to move to the post-study visa, 2K per person? And at the end of the day, it does not lead anywhere. If they get care job, that would, their 5 years can start counting from that day one. Well, to each man his own. So if that is works for your family, and you're not going to be burnt out. But I also have lots of people who are already on this health and care visa as well, who will come to me and complain that they want to switch as well. So, but if you have looked at your own case and you feel that you are okay there, please go for whatever it is that works for you.
Thank you. Oh, okay, so when the guy was talking about confidentiality and security issues, I think it has to do with the safety of the data. And yes.
So I think that would depend on the job title and how sensitive it is. But I don't think, well, to be honest, it depends on the job role and how sensitive it is, and the perception of the company of Nigeria, but I've not heard. Of course, I know that Nigeria, when it comes to security, data integrity and all that, has a high risk, and dealings with Nigeria as a country is usually high risk. But I don't know how that applies when it comes to getting remote jobs.
All right, thank you so much. I think what we're going to do now is the rest of the question can continue on the handle life_career_UK. So please get in touch with the two speakers, whichever pathway you have decided to go through. And you are in the best of the hands. You are in the best of the hands. You are in the best. You are in the best. These two know their job, and you will have your success story. So thank you so much. Thank you, Adeshola. Thank you, Rukaya. Thank you so much. And all of you that have joined, thank you so much. Please fill out the form, the feedback form, to help us get better and also to know what else to do in going forward. Thank you so much. Half of my village women center this year. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Rukaya. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.